Hello everybody, welcome to Cobcast, where I tell you a story every week. And I've had phone issues, so I'm recording off of my phone, and it's probably been about 10 days again, if I had to count. I brought my props today, and I'm in the bathroom actually, but I'm sitting on my barrel, not sitting on the toilet. But I always like to change the environment just because it makes it a little bit more entertaining. The story that I have for you today is not going to be along the lines of the trilogy that I was going to do with my last video, because this is a story that I really wanted to talk about because it just popped in my mind that I really, really want to talk about it. And it's one of those ones that you can't forget it. Same with all of them. That's why I'm telling you these stories, right? I hope the audio is okay. Hope the lighting's okay. I'm sitting in my bathroom recording off of my phone. So, the background on this story is a friend of mine that I used to skateboard with. Hold on. I'm wearing a long sleeve. I have a Thrasher tattoo because I used to skateboard and do competitions, and I skateboarded with a lot of people and got pretty good over the years. Started about when I was 8 years old, so let me do the math here. Friggin' forever ago. A guy, I met him with another friend. Never seen the guy before in my life. And I'm with a friend hanging out in his driveway riding a rip stick. If you ever heard of one of those like wobble boards where it's got two wheels and you wiggle your feet and you kind of scoot around. It's not quite a skateboard, but I was hanging out with him and running up and down the driveway trying to do tricks on it, which those are pretty hard to do tricks on. And this guy comes up just randomly, and he's riding a skateboard. And I said, "Hey, I skateboard too. Can I try your skateboard?" Because it looked like he knew what he was doing by the way that he was riding. And I stepped on his skateboard, and I'm wearing Harley Davidson boots. I didn't bring them in here for the prop. I brought a different prop because it's a little bit more important. But I was wearing Harley Davidson boots. And he was like, "Yeah, you can try out my skateboard." So I get on the board. First try, do a 360 flip, which is called a tray flip. It's a 360 shove it with a kick flip. If you don't know skateboarding, it's a 360 shove it, so the board spins around twice and does a kickflip at the same time. So it's like that. And it's not really that hard of a trick when you're good at skateboarding. But he was like, "Dude, you just did that in Harley Davidson boots?" And so we automatically became friends. And we skateboarded, played skate a lot. Played a lot of games of skate. Just down the road in the little town that I used to live in. And the roads were all crap, so we always had to pick a good spot to skateboard because they put gravel down, and gravel and chip. Can't really skateboard on that. Well, since we hung out so much, we went to this little town that he grew up in. I'm just going to call it SJ because that's the letters of the name of the town. And we skateboarded. There's a few spots around there. A few good ledges and a couple good stair sets. And there was an old abandoned school that had a really nice stair set. And there was a basketball court that had a really smooth ground. And we would do tricks on the old ledge. I don't know, there must have used to be a building there and it got torn out, but you can skate on the flat. We'd always bring a broom skate on the flat, and then wax the other edge where the other part of the building used to be, and grind it. And I used to always do the 50-50 and pop shove it, front side shove it off, or do a backside nose slide. Anyways, another digression. But we had a lot of skate spots, and since he grew up in that area, he knew some of the people around the area, and so he's the same age as me. We're pretty much like a month apart from age, and he knew a lot of people from that town, and knew a lot. It's a really small town, like less than 1,000 people, maybe 600, 700, 800 people. No more than 800, I can guarantee you that. And this kid comes up and says, hey, and he knows him. This kid's a few years younger. He says, hey, I got put on probation for getting in trouble. I don't know what he did. There's only one gas station in town, which, hell, there's not a gas station in a lot of the towns that I hang around. But there's one gas station in town. I assume that he either got caught breaking in or stealing from the gas station, or doing something in a different town, because there wasn't very much that you could do, and there wasn't a police station. So he said he's on probation, and he's got to see his PO, probation officer, in the next 3 days. And he said he has been smoking cannabis, and he needed to clean his system out real quick. He's like, I gotta have a pee test because I know my probation officer is going to pee test me. And he told Jason, I shouldn't say his name, but I did. He told him that he had a plan, and I'm gonna back up a little bit. I stayed the night in SJ town for 3 nights, and that was the first day that I had went there when we were skateboarding, and hanging out with Jason. Since I already said his name, it doesn't matter. Hanging out with him, we talked to this kid skateboarding up at the flats. That's what we used to call it. That was where the ledges were that we would grind on. This kid comes up and says, yeah, so I'm gonna drink some bleach. Bleach. That's my prop. He puts about a shot glass of bleach into a cup of water, drinks it down, thinking that it's gonna clean his system from THC, from the cannabis that he was smoking. And when I found out that he drank bleach, it boggled my mind. I'm like, dude, you cannot drink bleach. But he was asking for a way to clean his system. And then the second day that I was there, he was like, yeah, I drank some bleach. You should probably go to the hospital. And then, I don't know, man, you shouldn't drink bleach. And that's really all I have to say on that is, do not drink bleach. It's not safe to drink. But anyways, we kept skateboarding. I don't know whatever happened to the kid. I don't think he died or anything, because I didn't hear anything about it. But maybe he passed his drug test. Maybe he didn't get drug tested. I don't know. But I know somebody. I don't know his name, but I know somebody that drank bleach. And like I said, I apologize for not having a video out for a while. Been having a little bit of technical issues, yada yada yada. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you.